Hi guys, welcome to Chrissy's Tiny Kitchen. Time for some Tuesday tips. So I was asked to make a special order cheesecake, and I thought I would use this as an opportunity to kind of show you how to easily cut a cheesecake, transfer it, and make it easier in general. And this can apply to any type of cake, really, even in a 9x13. Just how to get really good clean cuts and keep it in shape. Now, this is just a standard spring form pan that I've made into a cheesecake. And out of this, I can easily get 12 slices. And they'll be nice and thick because it is a thicker cheesecake. So a little goes a long way. This happens to be a caramel apple cheesecake that I made. Maybe another day I'll show you. I make this caramel apple dip that people go crazy for. And I thought I would make a cheesecake sort of based around it. So we've got toffee bits, we've got caramel, we've got vanilla, we've got Granny Smith apples. Specifically, it's got to be Granny Smith, so it cuts that sweetness to get that little bit of tart. So I have taken the springform pan sides off of the cheesecake, and I have everything sort of set up here. So I've got a nice sturdy wooden cutting board. This is just my little to-go dish that I'm going to put it in later. I also make sure that I have a large, thin, very sharp knife. I like to have my little spatula and a jug of very hot water and some paper towel, or you could use a kitchen towel. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to actually remove the cheesecake right from the bottom of the pan. So I'm just going to find where there's the best spot to kind of sneak my spatula in there, just to kind of create a little lip. There we go. Okay, so I just kind of wiggle it around, if you can see there, underneath. You want to make sure the whole thing gives. You don't want to force anything. And if you've got a nice, well-baked, sturdy cheesecake, you should be able to lift the whole thing. Voila. So there is our cheesecake. I didn't make it perfect. There are some cracks on top, but another tip, if you've got a cheesecake and you ended up with some cracks on top and it's not that perfect topping, put some stuff on there. This one's actually going to be topped with a caramel apple sort of sauce with nice chunks and everything, so it's going to hide any imperfections. So that's a good tip. Hide your imperfections. Okay, so I'm going to start with what I'm going to do. The very first thing I do, so I want to get 12 slices. So I'm going to cut it in half one way, cut it in half the other way, and then each quarter is going to be sliced into 3. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that knife a little bit wet and warmed up. Dab it off a little bit on there. The first cut's always the most nerve-wracking. And you want to make sure you're cutting all the way through. Ooh, yum! Also, a great way to taste test the product. Scrape that knife off. And I always save it aside on the cutting board. And then that's a little sample for later. Every single time you're going to go back into the cake, again, cheesecake, chocolate cake, pie, whatever, go back in with the hot water and clean the knife off. You are going to get much, much cleaner cuts. When I was still in Thunder Bay, I was working at Daytona's kitchen, or Daytona's restaurant in the kitchen, and I kind of became the cheesecake lady there, and I absolutely loved it. They gave me complete freedom. I made up everything from, I did, what did I do? Carrot cake cheesecake, I did a Nanaimo bar cheesecake, a caramel macchiato cheesecake. Basically, I really like combining different desserts into a cheesecake. I did a cinnamon bun cheesecake. Thunder Bay is known for a dessert called Persians. It's sort of, the way I describe it, is almost like a donut meets a cinnamon bun. And then it has this raspberry buttercream frosting on it. Now there's many varieties. But the original Persian, it's got that bright pink raspberry buttercream. And I actually made a Persian cheesecake. So I did my graham cracker bottom with a hint of cinnamon in it. And then I did a vanilla cheesecake, again with some swirls of cinnamon. And then I made that buttercream and I topped it with it. So not only did it look like a Persian, but it tasted like a Persian. That one was a huge, huge hit. Again, I was just playing in the kitchen, and that's what I love. That's what I love about cooking. Okay, so we have our 4 quarters. So I'm gonna go in, and this I just kind of eyeball. And then I'm gonna get this one there. Perfect. And honestly, take that time to clean your knife in between every single cut. I'm telling you, it's gonna make a world of difference. You're gonna get such nice slices from your cheesecake. One more here, so we're just gonna eyeball. Okay, so we've got our first 3 slices there. I'm not gonna sit here and make you guys watch me cut every single one. So I'm just gonna finish cutting this up, and then we'll come back in as I transfer it over to my little to-go pan. Okay, so we've got the cheesecake all cut up. I got 12 generous slices cut out. And now I'm just going to transfer it into this pan here. I figured that would be the easiest way to tote it. And also that way I don't have to worry about getting any dishes back or anything like that. I can just give her the whole thing. Now this cheesecake is gonna have a topping. So another tip is don't put your topping on until you're ready to serve it. So this one has a caramel sauce and apples. It's gonna look really pretty once it's ready to serve. However, if I put it on now and it's not gonna be served for a couple hours, some of the caramel sauce is gonna start to sink in. It's gonna start making things kind of mushy. It's gonna start affecting the crust a little bit. So I don't like to do any of that until just before it's being served. So when I give her the cheesecake, I'm gonna give her the caramel topping in a separate little container, and I'll let her know just before you serve it, dump it over the top, or she could even do it by slice and sort of put it on each individual. Okay, so this is the hold your breath part. And you see, I've got this little pile here that I had saved off my knife. That's for quality control. I can taste it. All right, so I'm gonna grab my flipper here, I think. And it's been a while since I've had to do this. Woo-hoo-hoo. So, you know what? I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna do a couple pieces at a time here, just to be safe. Don't want to ruin all that hard work. Oh, yum. I think I need to do a cheesecake video for you guys. What do you think? Because what I do is I use the same base, essentially, for all my cheesecakes. And it's just the fun that you have with it, changing up the ingredients that go in it. Occasionally you might have to adjust the amount of egg in that, depending what you're using. Okay, let's get that on there. Just trying to make this look as pretty as I can in this little container here. So I guess I'll show you. So this guy here, it's got little toffee bits all mixed in there. And I also did a nice ribbon of caramel once it was all done and sort of just swirled it through. And then it's going to be topped with apples, cooked in butter and brown sugar, made into this caramel. Okay, there we are. So we were able to fit the whole cheesecake in there. It's a nice heavy cheesecake. I'm going to top it off like so. And then I can leave it in the fridge. It's going to pick it up in about an hour. So basically, My Tuesday tips are, when you're cutting up a cake, whether it's a cheesecake, birthday cake, could be, you know, squares, whatever, set yourself up first. Make sure you have a jug of hot water, sharp knife, a scraper of some type, and your cutting board. Clean your knife every single time it's going to touch that cake. You're going to get nice clean cuts. It's going to just look much more presentable, and it's going to be easier for you. And most importantly, snacks. You can scrape off that knife, save it aside, because I don't get to taste any of this. I don't get to enjoy this cheesecake. So those little bits gives you a little sample, and that's it basically. So when you're cutting up any cake, clean knife, hot water, and a paper towel or a dishcloth will be your best friend. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.